A.B.C.D. Art by Creative Design. Art education for all. Art education benefits all.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the final edition of Art by Creative Design's Junior Creative Studio. And you know, because it's the final session, we have to go out with a bang. So we have some really special moments during the course of this session, and we are so glad that you are here to share it with us. So without any further delay, I'm going to go into our first special moment. Our first presentation is being brought to us by Divana Artistry. And what makes this so fantastic is that it is this young person's first presentation of this nature, yes, as she's exploring her own creative potential. And we'll be back with our special guest.
Hi everyone, I am Divana Artistry. Today I would like to share with you guys how I achieve a smoky eye look, and this look usually goes for casual purposes, so anything that you feel like you need to just throw on a little face. There's about 10 minutes, so stay tuned. The first step in any makeup routine is obviously cleaning your face. Having a blank canvas is important. The first step in that is toning and cleansing your face. So I do have oily skin. The second step in actually applying your makeup is using a primer, and I will be using this one today because it helps control the oil being excreted from my face. So you could use about a pea-sized amount and apply it thoroughly throughout your face. Now the second step for me is my eyebrows, because I don't know, I just like to do my eyebrows before I do the whole face. So because I have thick eyebrows, I tend to comb them out in the direction that the hairs are growing. So for my eyebrows, I start from the bottom and I go directly here, trying to make the goal here is trying to make it look as natural as possible. They do look kind of crazy now, but wait for it. That is what concealer is for. That's what we're gonna use it for. So we're cleaning up the brows. So this is the final on my eyebrows. And if you want, you could always brush through. If you have thick eyebrows, if not, you could just use this other thing. So this is the final product on eyebrows. Next, I tend to go onto the eyelids. Now, using the same concealer you use to conceal your eyebrows and clean it up, you could go onto your eyelid and apply it there. This is so that you have a clean canvas again for what we're gonna do next. On top of the concealer that you just applied to your eyelids, I like to add powder so that it sets nicely. This helps with longer wear and containing oily eyelids, so you wouldn't get as much creasing and smearing and that kind of thing if you use powder. So using my Bleach Cosmetics Ultimate Neutrals palette, I will be going in with one of the darkest shades, this one here, and I will be packing it into the crease so that it could create the smoky eye effect. So this is the final of the dark shade into the corner crease, and now I will be going in with a more skin tone color, lighter, to the center here. So I will be using this one, yeah, will be used to blend the shadow is the final with the eyeshadows alone. And to really bring it out, use a highlighter. So I'm using the Huda Beauty 3D highlighting palette. And I'm using Azores. Now you're going to take this color and put it directly onto the brow bone here. And into the crease, directly into the crease. Everybody's different. You might have a different preference for color and that kind of thing, but I choose this color. So again, into the brow bone. And the crease. Complete the eyeshadow. You're going in with the eyeliner. And we'll be doing a winged eye. After adding the eyeliner, this is the look. Personally, I like to tightline my waterlines. So I use waterproof eyeliner and I go gently pull down on the skin here, and it will. To complete the eye look, I will be using these eyelashes from Flirtatious Looks, the Monarch Lash Pack. So these are with the lashes on, and now you're going to apply your mascara. So that's it for the eyes for now. Now we're going to go into foundation. Because this is a casual look, we will be doing concealer first. So any dark spots that you think you need to cover, you conceal it. You're going to blend the concealer into the skin to cover the spots. Now using a light to medium foundation, coverage foundation, you can begin. Foundation I'm using is Maybelline Fit Me Foundation. So after applying your foundation, the next step is setting, and this is very important if you want your makeup to stay in place, so I suggest that you don't skip it. I am using the Sacha Buttercup powder and lightly dusting it across my face. So in a patting motion like this, you actually are pushing the powder into your skin, which helps it set better. So that is always recommended, particularly if you want longer wear. Going back in with the Huda Beauty 3D highlighting palette, I will be highlighting my cheekbones with the color Azores. I'll be applying it to my nose bridge. And to my forehead, just the middle. final stage would be your lips. That's a personal preference. Whatever color you feel like you need to put on to feel your best self, then you should do that. For this look, because I want it's more neutral, I am going to go with a nude lip. So I'm lining with a brown lip liner. And the Wonder Matte Liquid Lip by EOA Studio. This is the color Hype. Set them with your setting spray to hold it. This is your final step. And voila! Your regular casual look. I hope that you enjoyed the look and the tutorial. Please like and follow my Facebook page, Divana Artistry.
We're on a mission to encourage everyone to dream, create, and achieve. We believe.
Thank you so much, Divana Artistry, for sharing your talents with us. And we will be sharing the information on how you can contact Divana at the end of our session, also on our live platforms, our Facebook pages as well. So you can get that contact information. So we're going to get into it one time because we have lots to talk about. Our special guest this afternoon has come in to join us all the way from Tobago, and we are so pleased to have him in the Junior Creative Studio. This is a discussion that we have been waiting to have for a little while. So before he comes in and joins us on screen, I'm going to share some information about him. So it's none other than Mr. Tomley Roberts. Tomley Roberts, artist extraordinaire, continues to articulate color and texture to recreate Edenic simplicity on canvas. With smooth, flawless strokes, he produces a creative climax of paint, form, light, and shape. His passionate embrace of brush and paint demonstrates true mastery of form and vibrancy in unique and revolutionary pieces. Roberts has been a solitary echo that consistently trumpets for the development of visual arts in Tobago. He was the first president of the Tobago Visual Arts Association, which was established in 2011 and has curated several exhibitions, including the secondary school's Wirecraft exhibition and carnival exhibitions, just to name a few, and has served on various curatorial committees in Trinidad and Tobago. He also served as curatorial trainee at the National Museum and Art Gallery. Robert's formative years were nurtured through self-taught expression. His artistic ambitions propelled him to persevere, and as such, he received additional training at the University of the West Indies. In fact, he gives much credit to one of his lecturers, Mr. Ainsworth Ovid, for his tutoring in experimental painting, the foundations of which are emblematic signatures in Robert's present works. He has been influenced by Edward Hernandez, Vel Lewis locally, and masters of the Renaissance and artists of African traditions. He has been mentored locally by artist Chief Leroy Clark, with whom he has developed a relationship that can be described as father and son. And as the mention of Mr. Chief Leroy Clark's name, we pause in respect. Roberts has been an artistic educator for over 14 years and has distinguished himself as an innovator and mentor. He has developed the Speyside High School Art Appreciation Week, an event that sets the stage for artistic education in the global community. The mentorship he has provided has yielded the top student in the Caribbean for printmaking, Tobago's very own Hassani Beckles from Charlottesville. Another example of his tutelage was recently viewed when one of his students, Tukoma Charles of Speyside High School, won Tobago's most prestigious art competition, the Office of the Chief Secretary's Art Competition. He jointly coordinated a European tour to Italy and Rome to directly expose Tobago students to the global artistic scenarios. Many of his paintings are in private collections throughout the Caribbean, USA, and other parts of the world. His work has been featured in Trinidad and Tobago, showcased in Suriname, and is gaining a foothold in the American market. Roberts is presently the president of the Tobago Visual Arts Association and a board member of the National Museum and Art Gallery in Trinidad and Tobago. I now present to you none other than Mr. Tomley Roberts, who will be joining me.
Good evening, everyone. Are you hearing me clearly?
Of course.
Nice.
Privileged to have
finish there, man.
Yeah, no, but no, I'm not finished, because you ain't finished yet. You ain't finished yet, so I can't.
Really delighted to be here. And really congratulations on the initiative. Ms. Simmons, I really want to commend you for this exciting and brilliant initiative, evolving in this dramatic and unpredictable time. So congratulations to you. The future is bright.
Thank you so much. And it's been support from persons in the field, fellow creatives such as yourself, that gives us the encouragement to continue doing this. And hear this now, when I read a bio like that, I know that we as, older ones, educators, we have a responsibility to continue to foster that same kind of inspiration. Yeah? Yes?
Yeah.
Right. So, as I hinted before, it's a year now we're waiting to have this conversation, Mr. Roberts. Right?
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah, because it's one island, right? Trinidad and Tobago. And I am one who has been following your work over the past couple of years. I have seen what you have been able to accomplish in your various communities in Tobago. And I, when we came about doing this whole Junior Creative Studio, one of the things I thought about is that, let's give different community groups a little platform, an additional platform in which they can share about the work that they have been doing. Yeah. So, but before we get into that, I know I read some things, but for you as an artist educator, there are some things that you may have experienced that that really stood out to you over your journey. I'm going to give you opportunity to share. All right. To tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of your journey and what are the things that really has held you through to this point.
All right, I think good afternoon, everyone. Again, I would like to say thanks to the Almighty for actually giving me the ability and the talent to do what I do. Without Him, I am insignificant. So I am just a vessel fit for use to do the mandate given. All right. At an early age, roughly about 5 or so, I believe that my mom, Christina Fraser Osmond, saw some sort of talent in me, and she decided to nurture me in a particular way. Now, I never really thought that I was going to be an artist because I had other ambitions, right? But at the age of 10, she enrolled me in art camp, a summer camp, conducted by the Tobago House of Assembly at the then Fine Arts Center in Orange Hill, right? So she enrolled me there to do something that they were having in the summer. And that was where it all started. So I believe she identified something in me and decided to send me, because I was not supposed to be the one there. The information was for someone else, and that person didn't want to go. So the information came to me. And so I went, and at that session, I learned pleated paper folding and flower arrangement, sculpture, and some drawing. And when I got there, I met several students from Tobago, and in my opinion, they were exceptional. And, you know, so that's how it started. And I continued, I went year after year, and then I just was consistent. And when I was in high school, my teacher then, Mr. Errol Phillip, right, he was of the opinion that I was good, you know, but when I look back at my work right now, I, he, I have questions, but nonetheless, he saw talent in me, and he supported my initiatives. And that is very important for teachers to support the students' initiative, to guide them, to encourage them, even though what they are doing may not be quote unquote aesthetically pleasing, right? So he would have supported me, and I continued. And in fact, when at Form 4 level, we were doing art, and I got red-eye at the same time. And my mom confined me to my room. She said, you can't go anywhere, stay in your room and paint. So that time I did 3 paintings, and those 3 paintings were actually the beginning of my whole thrust in painting. And when I carried to the teacher, he said, wow, this is good. Some of the students actually debated, sir, he didn't do that, you know, but I'm still looking back at the book right now. It wasn't all that, but at least it was the genesis of all that I am now. All right. So he would have encouraged me, and then one thing led to the next, and I continued throughout time. I dabble in photography. I did little courses at the Media and Training Service in collaboration with John D. And then further went on to UWI. And immediately after UWI, I returned to Tobago. And that's where I was summoned, in fact, to Speyside High School. And that also, Speyside High School also served as another vehicle to actually develop my artistic abilities, because the principal at the time, Mrs. Sherry Rollocks Hackett, she really created a platform for teachers to excel, for them to really come up with unconventional and creative avenues to actually meet your charges. And that was very interesting. And so she gave me the canvas and the tapestry, everything to actually do what I can. And that's where I developed the Art Appreciation Week program. And I've just been continuously doing stuff, because in the final analysis, it's about developing our people in Trinidad and Tobago, allowing them, giving them that platform to really showcase their talent, that platform to develop. And because of all of that, and because of the opportunity I received at 11 years old, I decided that I wanted to do something like this so that other youngsters throughout Trinidad and Tobago could benefit from the same mentoring that I received. And that's how I developed the Prestige Arts International company, which is a multidisciplinary company. It focuses on several different things, not just educational aspect for persons who are interested in artistic skill, but it involves the splash and dab, which is my concept of the sip and paint, you know, right? That's my own concept there, right? So I have just been evolving in art, and in fact, I would say this period of uncertainty, this COVID period, even gave me the opportunity to expand on what I'm doing. So you now have the opportunity of mentoring people across the globe online, you know. And so all in all, I am indeed thankful for the opportunity to share, the opportunity to learn, because everything that you do is also a learning experience, and it also creates an avenue for further development. So,
You know, from what you have shared so far, you know what I appreciate the most? There's one word that you keep repeating all the time, that whole idea of mentoring. I mean, even in you identifying those who would have mentored you. And I love the fact that you take the time and you took the time to not only pay homage to those who would have helped you develop your own artistic skill, but also the reference to your former principal who gave you that opportunity, that space in which you can do the foraging and do the investigation and bring in others. And, you know, that's what it's about. And I just think that is so admirable. Yeah.
Thank you. And I think it's
Ah,
important for us to really
yeah.
always pay homage
Yeah.
to whoever has influenced us, right? That is very important. And we also need to ensure that we focus on developing or establishing some legacy at the same time. I think people need to really be more self-giving rather than selfish and really allow, you know, the true meaning of humanity to really be emitted from their personality.
We say love, when we say love, when we say love.
So here what? Let's get into how you have been able to do the same with those under your charge, right? And I know that you have shared with us some images of the work. You want to get into that now? We could do that.
No problem, definitely. Could you?
Okay. So let me just share screen.
So Prestige Art, as I said, you could pull up your pictures. It's a multidisciplinary organization that so we have some of our youngsters here. He is 5, a budding artist, and he was doing some collages. That's Mr. Aleem, right? I think 5 years old, right? Yes,
So what age group do you begin with? So in terms of the age group?
initially, I wanted to start at 7 years, but then a parent contacted me and said she has a 4-year-old and she would like to do some work. I said, 4 years? That is a baby. He's still breastfeeding. She said, sir, I have seen some talent, and from where I came from in terms of experience, I decided to give the child a chance. And to my amazement, the child produced some excellent work. So I am at the point now not limiting any child or any person at all. I'm just going to give them the opportunity for self-expression, the opportunity to really learn and express themselves, and you would see those persons develop. So I'm not limiting anyone at this point in time. I must do a personal evaluation of each person, and after then, could I make an assessment?
Wonderful.
All right, so this is one of our students here, Mr. Jordan. It's a 3-dimensional sculpture, paper mache actually, and all these sessions are online sessions, mind you.
All right, so you do a variety of expressive forms.
Yes, I actually cover 10 expressive forms.
Ooh, okay, right.
That's
Great.
drawing, painting, sculpture, textile, leathercraft, embroidery, everything. Right, so that's also Mr. Ali Mooks, as I said.
He was working on before, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the complete piece. And if you notice carefully, at that young age, he was able to utilize the artistic techniques as well. So we identify some of the techniques like stippling on the leaves and so forth, you know, just basic thing to test the motor skill and, you know, assist in cognitive development.
You know, and that's the thing. I glad you mentioned those terms of us educators, right? Because I think people miss the fact that through the arts is one of the ways in which you can cover all those brain functioning development modes, right? You know, in one activity, you know, is cognitive development, psychomotor, as well as the affective, right? Because Aisha Master was having a great time playing with those colors, and you know, also the process is one thing, but when you finish and you see the complete thing, there's also that aspect of it as well, developing that self-pride.
Definitely. So this piece is a collage piece. This was done by one of our students, Alia, and it's she has really been interested in terms her expression. So this is a collage of the Speyside water wheel, which is now derelict. And this is her rendition here. And as she is aiming for realism in her work, so she really expresses herself. So this is one of our students. So we cater for all ages, basically. Once you're able to follow instructions and, handle certain tools and equipment.
But you talk about following instructions, and was a part of my reflection this morning. And again, it's about the developmental aspect of the arts, because it's one area that you can learn how to. People don't understand you have to learn how to follow instructions, right?
Definitely.
It's a process,
It's a process.
It's a process. And with this, it really helps you kind of focus and develop. And this is quite detailed work. And what I love about the theme of this piece, or I should say the topic of this piece, is that in her exploring this, to do this piece, she also has to be aware of her cultural environment as well.
Definitely. In fact, she went so far because what we were focusing on is also being sensitive to our environment. And as such, we use recycled material only. And for this, it was old magazines we actually recycled to create the artwork. So I want a student to understand it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter what you have. You could have just basic resources, cardboard boxes, old cans, anything in your environment. Once you are a creative, you can use your abilities and your initiative to come up with something that is second to none.
Second to none. Wonderful. And that's an important lesson. One piece, that was just one piece.
Right, so this is also another piece done by another student of ours, and this is also collage. So what I try to do is to give them an exposure to a variety of artistic technique. Most people think that when you say art, it's just about painting and drawing. They would immediately have a roadblock and think that I can't do this, I can't. So there are abundance of techniques that people can use and feel comfortable with so that they can at least express themselves. Now, additionally, apart from just being creative, some people find this whole aspect of art, especially the collage making and stippling, very therapeutic. So some people would do this just for doing its sake because it relaxes them. They are not interested. They're not interested in anything, but I'm just chain out the paper. And so I have seen several different things, and it's very important because most of us are kinesthetic, right? And we want to touch and we want to feel and that sort of thing. So it's very important to allow those sort of expression.
You touch on a very important aspect, just to repeat it, because again, when we mention the visual arts, people are very limited in their appreciation of it. They think it's painting, drawing, end of story. And through programs like yours, you'll be able to open up the range to your young learners. So you have a body of young persons who will grow up understanding that no, visual arts is more. There is space for me. There is space.
Definitely. Because you see, one of the challenges that we have, and this is another student work, is that we in Trinidad and Tobago, we've been propagating the idea that art is not beneficial in Trinidad and Tobago. And that would have affected so many people in the past, and they would not have pursued an artistic career. But now people are becoming wise, I would want to say, and they understand the importance of our culture or talents or abilities. In fact, I've been saying that that's the next goal we have. We may be locked down for a longer time. We never know. Our creative industries are the avenues that we can use to propel our people to a new height.
Yes, of course, of course. I just kind of mesmerized by this piece because, beyond the technique, it's about how art captures the essence of a people.
Definitely.
Pull and say it could be anywhere, but it's exactly the essence, yeah?
And what I try to get the students to do is to really focus on their space, their environment, And because art is actually a recording of civilization, civilization cannot exist without the artist. So
Yeah.
apart from what people think, you cannot exist without the artist. If you want to doubt me, what are you sitting on? A chair? Well, then get off the chair.
Chair.
Artist created that. Hey, wait, you're on a table? Remove from that. Who designed the computer? Wait, but you have on some clothes still.
Yeah,
Take
but
off
we
the
are
clothes
pretty
and throw
close.
it away. And after all of that,
You're
we
watching
still,
TV. Don't forget you're watching TV.
yes. And wait, you're in a building, somebody designed that. And but by the way, apart from all of that, you can't get away from it because the greatest artist that existed is the divine creator himself. He created us. So we are all creative beings coming from a creative sphere, and we need to understand that we can't get away from it. So this is another student uh, from Trinidad, actually. He is doing some sculptural work, and he was working with clay, self-hardening clay, and we were exposed to different techniques and so forth. So he did a fantastic job. So even though we are on the technological platform, students are still able to carefully manipulate the techniques
Right.
to
Yes.
produce work at mastery, right? This
Because
is another student here, Alia. No, not Alia.
is this a
Aria.
painting? Is this a
Aria. It's a
painting or is
collage
this
as
a
well.
collage? All right. Okay. You know,
Timber.
and
Yeah.
I know that what I like about your varied approaches that you introduce the students to, it also introduces them to various types of media
That's
and the
correct.
feel and the texture, and you have a better appreciation for those things. Yes? And put them
Yes,
out into
because
the field.
the possibility are endless. And this guy here, this young man, Mr. Malik, he started just before common entrance. Listen to
Okay.
this. He just started just before common entrance, and he couldn't really draw or anything like that. And between then to now, this is
Wow.
the product. So I think he is
Wow.
specially gifted because to do this level of intricacy in a short space of time. Um, very, very talented young man. So we try to celebrate all our students,
Yes.
regardless of the discipline that they
Ah,
choose to pursue,
right.
right? We want to have them, pursue whatever you want to do what you ever want to
Yeah.
do, right? It doesn't matter, children or adults, they
Mhm.
have the same opportunity to,
Let me
express.
tell you something, Tommy. I could call you Tommy.
That's quite okay.
I'm enjoying this conversation. I like this. I like this. Because you're touching on some key things that we need to be able to put out into our community out there, let people think about a little bit more. Because you use the term specially gifted. And I realize that there's this trend, right? Or this trend where people tend to think of those people who are specially gifted or that term special as persons who cannot do. But really and truly, it's about people who are able to do differently. And that also includes those who can achieve more in a shorter space of time.
Yes, yes,
And
most
we have to
definitely.
also cater for them within our programs, right? So persons who can do things a little faster, how
Mhm.
can we cater for them? How can we push them towards moving further?
Well,
Yeah.
we all have to do what we can in all the little areas. We cannot afford to work in silos. So this whole collaboration here, established by your directive, I think is very, very important. So again, congratulations to you. What is important is that our leadership, that is government, they need to understand the importance of the creative industry. No, you mustn't just talk it, right? They need to put the money into the creative industry and really ensure that we develop our people. I have been observing Trinidad and Tobago for a while, and I think we have more talent per capita than any other place in the world. And why don't we have many large sculptures all over the place? Why don't we have, so many different things happening in terms of the art industry? Why don't we pay correct homage to our icons while they are alive? Why do we wait until they're dead to give them some sort of thing posthumously, right? We need to do better as a people, and this is one of our adult students here,
Yes.
and also from Trinidad, right? And she's doing a drawing there and so forth. So the opportunities are endless, And once we as a people understand the importance of creativity in the development of all industries, then I think Trinidad and Tobago will be poised to really be a dynamic place, or a more dynamic place, in terms of, you know, showing our people with not just incentives to move on, but they would really come together and really find a unique way of marking our civilization here in Trinidad and Tobago. So this is, as you could see, another use of technique again by another student.
But before we talk a little bit more about this piece, you know, I shared some clips about, you know, your students at work, right? And I was able to see in some of the slides as well, some of their final pieces. You know, I'm very much interested in the range of the ages of your students, including your adult students. How has it been working with your adult students? How do they find you? Why do they look for you? Right? What are some of the things that they share with you when they come to
Well,
help me?
in terms of the adult, some persons are also mentoring young people, and they want you to connect with them at a different level. So some persons come to learn specific skills so that they could impart it onto their students, their children, that sort of thing. Some persons are there for therapy. They are just coming to paint and relax themselves, no stress, no fuss. They're just coming to just paint or sculpt or do some embroidery, just have some fun and relaxation. So that's one. You also have persons who are coming definitely to, they are desirous of matriculating to universities. And if you are into the area of visual arts and technical drawing, architecture, you must have a visual arts base. That is the key for you to get in. If you don't have a portfolio per se, you may have some challenges. So some persons come to develop portfolios as well, and some people just come to develop the skill to do something else. And I think a lot of people now realizing that, hey, if I could do this, I could master this one artistic discipline, I can convert this to a business. So people are now looking at the opportunities available in terms of commerce, and they are also trying to capitalize on those as well.
No, Tommy, but Tommy, you're using one more questions. What's going on? So here, what we're coming back to that, you know, we're coming back to that because that was one of the key areas about the viability of the areas of arts and arts education that we spoke about in our Talking the Things series. But it's important here because even though our junior creative studio is targeted towards young persons, it is very important for us to kind of foster and engender in them the idea that, hey, arts is also very much a viable area for you to get into, right? But we come into that because we are to hit them with it, you know. And I know you have
Definitely, definitely.
Right? So okay, so you have this piece. Let's share another.
Right. So this piece was also done by another student in the Sister Isle. And what was creative about it, I could call his name. His name is Jordan. Right. What was interesting about this piece? He wanted to do something different. In fact, this piece was also exhibited at the Rotunda, the Parliament exhibition quite recently. All right. A young guy, just about 15 years. All right. And he would have attached Braille to this piece. So a person who is blind or visually impaired, mind you, correct me there, right, who is visually impaired, they could come and actually feel the work and see certain things. So if you look at the bottom of the letters there, you would see some dots, and those are actually 3D dots. They are actually raised so that you could touch and feel and develop that sense of awareness as you view the artistic creation. So congratulations again to Jordan.
Congratulations to Jordan. Listen, the theme of the CAPS conference this year is breaking barriers, transitioning beyond the norm. And in every forum that we've had this week, I'm so thrilled how persons have been able to show how within the arts, within arts education, how we have been able to do just that, how we are doing just that.
Because it's the whole thing is about art is a language and how you communicate with people, and what these students and what these proteges are doing is that they are communicating to persons at different level, all right? Because art is a language to connect all of us, all right?
Yes. I mean, I even like the use of the bandana because it
Mhm.
sends a particular message and then the different
Definitely.
arms. And listen, this is really a powerful piece. And yeah, we really do need to say congratulations to Jordan. Yeah.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
and it's so inclusive. We talk, before he was saying about we talking the talk and we not doing the do. You
Mhm,
see
mhm.
how old Jordan is 15?
15,
See how
15.
Jordan in this one piece do the do, right? So we keep talking about inclusive education, and here it is in this one piece, with just by including that braille, how
Mhm.
Jordan has been able now to pull and make a connection to another group that he may not necessarily be in contact with all the time.
Definitely.
They are brought into the experience, you know. So
So the whole thrust of Prestige Arts, as I said, it's a multidisciplinary organization. You know, we create a safe haven, a safe space for young people to come and, you know, learn artistic skill, a safe space for adults also to come and, you know, learn artistic skill or just, you know, relax and so forth. So all of these initiatives, I think, important in protecting our people and really protecting our human resource capital here in Trinidad and Tobago. All right, this was done by another student. She has now graduated, move on, pursuing artistic career. I think that's Kristen, right? That's one of her pieces there. And so as I said, there's a variety of technique. Usually you would not find much people in all part of the world exploring. This is an impressionistic technique,
yeah,
right? Where you have, you know, all the little jabs, and she used this throughout, right? So impressionist technique, different sizes, artistic fundamentals, principles of design. So all of these are infused in the work. So sometimes the theoretical component may seem to be difficult, but once
yeah.
it's infused into the practical aspect of it, then students and persons are able to get a greater appreciation for what they're doing.
Wonderful. More impressionism
And
here.
so
And
it's more impressionistic piece as well.
and again, I know for us as the educators, right, we can go into a whole discussion
Mhm,
about how, impressionism, how it would have represented a period of time. We could talk about the
uh-huh,
use of the color palette and what it,
mhm.
the focus. And here it is, we're taking that information and transfer it into a now, transfer it into
Exactly.
our context. Again, it's about cultural appreciation, making that citizen, that model citizen that we're talking about, being
Right?
done
And
for.
this was all done by Antonia. You know, so I want to commend her because you know, she had just started as well, but nonetheless, she did an excellent job.
Wonderful.
Right. So we try. I try to document as much as possible so that everyone could have a beautiful portfolio so that they can see their evolution.
Yes.
Right. This piece was done by your adult artist as well, Mark J. And Mark J. Also the impressionistic technique because I try to focus on technique development.
Yes.
Right. Once you are able to master the technique and the fundamentals, you can really do anything. So this is Marjorie here, and her work was also featured at the Rotunda Gallery. I try to give the students an opportunity as well to expose their artwork. If you are brave enough to create something, you must be brave enough to show it. Whatever people think about it is irrelevant to some extent, right? You must be brave enough to show it. If they like it, that's good. If they don't like it, that's also good. So you try to create a positive scenario from everything and allow them also to learn from the negative. So this is Margie, and she has been doing excellent work. In fact, she has now transitioned or is transitioning to opening her own studio space, and that's something I'm very, very, very proud of her.
That is.
You know, and in fact, she started well initially when I wanted to do the art program and so forth. I approached the assembly, the Doing Arts Assembly, and I felt like they were taking too long to respond. And so I did my own thing. But eventually, they did respond, and we developed an initiative called the Art in Youth Friendly Spaces, right? Art in Youth Friendly Spaces. under the division of community development. So she started at the initiative at the Y Zone spaces, and then she met me after and continued. So it's an opportunity for everyone.
It's wonderful. And use again, I like your key terms, transitioning.
Yes,
And
yes.
because I said I was going to go back for us to talk about the viability of our art spaces. Yeah.
The viability is there. I think what needs to happen is people need to really, apart from being creative, one thing I learned from my mentor, Leroy Clark, God rest his soul,
God bless
right,
us.
is discipline, right? Now, I always felt that I'm a very disciplined guy, very disciplined, very structured, until I met Leroy Clark. Then I realized he is very disciplined, very, very disciplined. Within recent time, he would have completed 200 and something paintings, right? Within a certain time, and then another 300. And I'm like, for the entire day, he has been at it. So discipline is very important, right? Consistency is also very important. So the art form is very viable. What needs to happen now? Marketing and so forth. We need to also do that. People also need to diversify their product. Example, you may have a large painting, but the economy has changed and people wouldn't buy a painting for $150,000. Some persons may, but the average person would not be able to do. However, you can now take that art, translate it to fabric, translate it to book bag, translate it to utility items so that the average person can afford. The possibilities are endless. You just need to be creative in your mindset and find a way to reach people with your product.
And what about in terms of avenues now? So again, most people might think if you're going to go into the area of studying arts, the arts.
Well, in terms of academia and so forth, there are many opportunities and avenues. And in fact, quite recently, somebody messaged me and she said, this lady said she had a son and the son was into animation and cartoon. And she was trying to tell him, that is what the mother said, she was trying to tell him that there is no future in that. I said, no. You can do animation right here in Trinidad and Tobago at UTT. Miss Camille Selvon is the head of the animation situation there, and you could do it there. And so I told her, no, he's not too young, let him sign up. He could do the certificate programs and so forth, whatever they're offering, and evolve. We have several persons from Trinidad and Tobago that are excelling in simple things like animation. So what I would want to see, if there are parents out there listening, and you have a child who likes to draw set a cartoon, then that is an ability, a special ability that could be developed, and also those persons need to be put in the right space so that they can excel. So if you're into animation, you have UTT there that you could go. If you're into the visual arts, you also have UTT, you have UE that you can go and pursue from certificate level right up to PhD, because I had a student quite recently and she was interested in doing something, but she said she didn't have the formal education before to do anything to actually matriculate. I said, that's not a problem. All you need to do is to be interested in doing it, sign up for the program, start at one level and move to the other level. So there are opportunities for persons to develop themselves in terms of art in Trinidad and Tobago. My advice would be to do what you can here, because cost effective, obviously, it's cheaper here, right? If you have the opportunity to travel, or you have a godmother out there or somebody who willing to facilitate you internationally, that's quite okay. You also have the avenues of applying for scholarships and so forth internationally. So the avenues are broad. What needs to happen is that we need to develop a greater appreciation for art and creativity in Trinidad and Tobago, not just at Carnival time, right? We need to have respect for the artists. Those are very, very important things. We need to really have that policy established. And once that policy is established, that this is the way we go, this is the way we go, it doesn't matter who come into government, there will be a clear path to follow. And I think that it's time as a country we understand our goal, understand what we have, and find a way to harness the abilities and the talent, and also develop and preserve what we have.
Mr. Tomley Roberts,
Hello.
I have plenty I could add, but I don't have to add nothing else. You have said it, and you have said it well. And I really want to thank you for taking the time to share the past hour with us in our Junior Creative Studio. I know. So you know what happening? You know who reaching out to you again, right?
That's no problem. It's a privilege to be here. As I said, if persons are interested in contacting me, you would give them that information. But we are a creative people, and we can find an avenue. So if you have a child, any parents listen, if you have a child who is creative, support that child. Support that child. Don't tell them this ain't gonna make no money. You'll be very, very surprised. Right?
On that note, in terms, I'd like to draw people's attention to your banner, right, where you have your contact information displayed. 702, yeah, 702-8764. You know, we're doing it different in 2021. You know, we step up the game. You know, because that's also important. That's a different conversation in terms of how we present ourselves as artists. Because this is a business. It's a business, and the marketing aspect is important, right? So thank you very much. Thank you. Congratulations to all of your students, those whose work you have shared, and those who have been exhibiting. I know that Heritage is coming up. And you know, I know he was involved before. I do all kind of different things on the landscape. I look forward to seeing your presentations, and I do wish you all the best. Remain safe, and we shall be meeting. Yes, God willing.
Okay. Thank you very much. Pleasant day to everyone. Be blessed.
Thank you so much. All right, so Mr. Tomley Roberts of Prestige Arts International is with us. Just to close off, I want to thank everyone for being part of our sessions. Take this message of arts education for all. Arts education benefits all. Take that message to the world, right? And to live it in Trinidad and Tobago and across the region.
When we say love, when we say love, when we say love, we mean unconditional love. When we say love, when we say love, when we say love.
A.B.C.D. Art by Creative Design. Art education for all. Art education benefits all.